Good morning. Good fucking morning. Welcome to another episode of Book Club with Caden Kelly, where I read books, but I don't read them right now. I already read the book. I come to this podcast because I'm here to talk about the book with the intention to improve my health, my wealth, my wisdom, and my peace and pass on the information to you to help improve those areas of your life as well. This podcast is live, baby. We do it live Mondays in the morning ish sometime. Right now it's 9:24 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. It's October 10th. I actually think it's is it Columbus Day, or if rather it's Indigenous People Day. Um, so we celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day because Columbus was an asshole, right? So welcome. If you want to join this podcast live, you could come over here Mondays on Twitch, Facebook, or YouTube. You could find the links to all the shit on my blog, cadenkellysblog.wordpress.com. I also write in a blog. I post each week. I used to make little TikToks. I'm trying to make TikToks again, little short clips with inspirational, motivational words of wisdom, but those are coming very slowly. I'm not very good at it. And I know it just takes practice to get good at it, and I'm working on it. So, but right now it's the podcast. I do it live, and it's the blog, and I do another podcast where it's this podcast, but it's shorter. It's called "Here's the Point" with Caden Kelly, also available on the blog. You could just Google it, or rather, you could search it on Apple Podcasts or Spotify and get all of the juicy content from there. Oh, yeah, that's my introduction, baby. Yes. So we nothing crazy, man. Over the weekend did some golf, did some pickleball. Been working a lot of hours at the look. We got the new White Glove. We got the new White Glove merch available. Got the hats and the jacket. And I got a shirt on and got all the White Glove merch in. So lots of carpet cleaning. Um, It's been good, man. Life's good. Got another week to do, I guess. Fuck it. Let's go. We roll. Let's get into it. Last week, if you remember, we read Missing Each Other by Edward Brodkin and Ashley Palithra. How to Cultivate Meaningful Connections. Which this book was awesome, and it wasn't exactly what I thought it was going to be. But that's usually why that really helps. I thought it was going to be more about social media. I don't know why. I guess maybe I just wanted it to be more about social media, but it was exactly what it says. How to cultivate meaningful connections. And it was great. Edward Brodkin, MD, is an associate professor of psychiatry with tenure at the Perelman, Perelman, Perelman. He has tenure at the Perelman School of Medicine at the University of Pennsylvania. He is the founder and director of the Adult Autism Spectrum Program at Penn Medicine. His research focuses on social neuroscience and the autism spectrum in adults. And then the other author, Ashley Palithra, MA, don't know what those letters are, is a therapist and clinical researcher. She is currently pursuing her PhD in clinical psychology at the Catholic University of America. She's the author of numerous published research articles in the fields of resilience and social emotional functioning in youth, autism research, and social neuroscience. There's a picture. There's our beautiful authors right here. There's a little picture you can see if you're watching the live. Beautiful creatures, beautiful faces. Rather, they're not creatures. Beautiful faces. Lots of credentials. You see, here's my problem right now with school and with credentials. I don't want to go to school because I don't want to spend the money. But I've had conversations with my lady and my family about school, and it sounds like everybody agrees that the credentials could play a big role in my podcast pursuit, and I tend to agree. If I was Caden Kelly, PhD in psychology or anthropology or just the stuff that we're into, philosophy, it would carry some weight. It would give me some leverage in this world. But I'm like, my excuses. I have the excuses, money, and it's not even time or like the pursuit, because I think whether I enjoy it or not, I think I would value the journey of going back to school. Now that I'm older and I actually like reading and studying and learning, I think I would enjoy it to some level. And yeah, it's not even that. It's like, it's the money. The time is kind of tough because I work and I have lots of other hobbies. It would play a role in it would play into my podcast time, because I spend a lot of my free time or working time listening to these books or reading the books, and I would have to give up the reading of these books that I choose to read, which is awesome, for books to, textbooks for classes and homework for classes. And like, just, I don't even have my associates. So I got to do some general classes. So I got to go fucking read textbooks on chemistry and shit. And I'm not excited to do that. So school's tough, but I do think having the credentials would be valuable. But how far can I go without the credentials? And really, I think that kind of boils down to how much I'm willing to invest money and time into the podcast, the system that I already have. Yeah, I'm going on a little tangent about my life, and that's what this podcast is about. It's just me. It's me being accountable to myself, and I'm talking into a microphone, so you get to listen to it as well. If you're thinking about going back to school, I think it's worth the consideration. I've heard I've seen tweets and TikToks of people I respect and follow saying that school is a great asset, but like the education from school can really only serve you if you go down the right path, or just the education itself. But it's insanely overpriced. The price tag for school is insanely overpriced. And I think, being a 26-year-old single dude, maybe I could get some help financially. My mom works at Weber State. I already get some benefits going if I went to Weber State. So it's not like it's not an option, but the money's the hardest part, man. I'm fucking broke as a joke, and carpet cleaning is going great. And I just got so many bills, man. I bought this house, and I bought a business, and I have employees. I mean, Jesus Christ, I spend a lot of money every month to pay for the stuff that I have. And it's hard, but I'm trying to make it work. I'm figuring it out. So, school, yes. Probably a good idea down the road. You know John DeLynn? He's the Mormon podcast host of Mormon Stories. He's not Mormon anymore, but he's the host of Mormon Stories. And he started his podcast in like 07, 06, and he went back to school to get his psychology degree. He's a PhD. I believe he has a PhD in psychology, because it only serves him. I don't even know if he has like a clinical practice, but he just like gets people, right? He gets behavior and uses his knowledge in his podcast to support his claims about religion and behavior in religion, rather. And helping people cope with religious struggle, their spiritual struggles. So he's legit. He's not just talking out of his ass like I am. I'm talking out of my ass. I've been doing it for almost 2 years, which is sick that I've been doing this for almost 2 years. But anyway, that's where I'm at. Maybe I'll go back to school. But for now, we're going to learn from people that are smarter than us. Edward Brodkin and Ashley Palithra. So let me grab my notes. And I have to come back to that text, so I'm going to mark it as unread, because iOS 16 is finally joining it's finally has some features that are useful. Like, how long did it take to mark text messages as unread. We've been able to do it in email forever. Why did it just barely happen for text messages? It drives me bonkers. Okay, I really enjoyed this book. I got a lot of notes. There were 6 chapters in the book. No parts, 6 chapters, and I'll break down the chapters for you in a second. In the introduction, they so these two, they co-authored the book, and they had some random lady read it, some actor. But they say that this book is designed to help us improve our attunement, which I believe is a word that they've made up. So if I go because when I type it in my notes, it pops up as a word that's like, not real. So I'm going to keep going, and then I'll explain what attunement is if you're not familiar, because it was new to me. This book is devoted to showing us, quote, how to bring greater awareness to our connections with others and the knowledge and skills to grow, strengthen, and deepen these bonds further. So, and this is done through refining our attunement skills. So let me tell you about attunement, what it is really quick. As they define it, the ability to be aware of our own state of mind and body while also tuning in and connecting to another person. Basically becoming distracted when focusing on something. Maybe I meant to say basically avoiding becoming distracted. Because that note goes exactly against what avoid. I'm going to put that in there. So attunement is the ability to be aware of our own state of mind and body while also tuning in and connecting to another person. And they break this down into 4 steps. Or rather, attunement has 4 components: relaxed awareness, listening, understanding, mutual responsiveness. So that's the whole book. Chapter 1 is what is attunement. Chapter 2 is the first component, relaxed awareness. Chapter 3, listening. Chapter 4, understanding, and chapter 5, mutual responsiveness. Chapter 6 is artificial attunement, and chapter 7 I didn't get any notes from. It was more of chapter 7 was more of like their epilogue. Like, we hope that you've enjoyed this book. It's called Where Do We Go From Here? Oh, yeah, and they have an attunement quiz that I wanted to take beforehand, and I didn't. It's on 201. I wonder if I could do that while I'm here with you. It's one of those where it's like it has a question. It's like the first overall attunement. I'm able to establish a mutual feeling of rapport with another person, to click with them. And then you answer sometimes, often, always, or never. So I'm not going to do that right now. But I wanted to take that quiz. Damn it. Where do I go from here? Okay. So this Google search, as I Googled it, says attunement is the reactiveness we have to another person. It is the process by which we form relationships. Dr. Dan Siegel says, when we attune with others, we allow our own internal state to shift, to come to resonate with the inner world of another. There's a phrase that keeps popping up, and I'm surprised that I remember it because it's such a strange or unfamiliar term to me. But you remember talking about collective effervescence? This is coined by Emil Durkheim. Collective. I think that these kind of go hand in hand, like complete and I don't even remember if they mentioned this collective effervescence in the book. They just used the word attunement. I think they're similar. This is what made me think of throughout the book. According to Durkheim, this is from iep.utm.edu. According to Durkheim, a religion comes into being and is legitimated through moments of what he calls collective effervescence. Collective effervescence Okay, yeah, forget that first part about religion. But that's interesting to know. Religion comes into being and is legitimated through moments of what he calls collective effervescence. Okay, so collective effervescence refers to moments in societal life when the group of individuals that make up a society come together in order to perform a religious ritual. I don't remember it to be so religious. Um, I remember. You remember from what book was it? Was it Behave by Sapolsky, where he gives examples of collective effervescence, and he says that there's you can experience effervescence, collective effervescence, when you're at a rave or when you're in nature. It refers to this experience of almost like a flow state with other people in the world. You lose your identity and you basically meld with the people in the group that you're with. From the corecollaborative.com, collective effervescence is the feeling of energy and harmony when people are engaged in a shared purpose. Yes. So like religion, but not just religion. Like you're out in Mother Nature and you're looking over a canyon is beautiful and you're with your friends or your partner and you just feel like the feeling of awe and beauty, and you feel that with other people, and you feel like you're part of something greater than just your own world, your own person. It is a joie de vivre. Is that French? JOIEDEVIVRE, which is exuberant enjoyment of life. Joie de vivre. Joie de vivre. Joie de vivre. Whatever. It is exuberant enjoyment of life that manifests when we share moments with others, such as being in a stadium that erupts in simultaneous applause when a musician returns for an encore performance. Oh yeah, and I think what's her name? Shit. Brene Brown. She talks about how she experiences collective effervescence when she goes to football games, and your team scores, and everybody in the audience is these feelings of you get it when you go to sports. She says you get it when you go to sports stadiums. You get it when you go to funerals with people. You get it when you go to baby showers. You get it when you're with people and you're part of something greater than yourself. You get it when you go to large like service projects. So okay, so why the fuck am I talking about this? I think the significance behind collective effervescence is it only works because of attunement. So attunement, again, as Dr. Dan Siegel from momentusinstitute.org says, when we attune with others, we allow our internal state to shift to come to resonate with the inner world of another. So that seems a little more intimate than collective effervescence. Effervescence sounds like with the group, and attunement is with an individual. So anyway, attunement it's basically our ability to connect with other people, and they both do that. Collective effervescence connects us to a group. Attunement connects us to an individual. Okay, I like that conclusion. So let me read you my notes. Fuck it, we're gonna get into my notes. Attunement is our most needed and most neglected human capacity. Again, the ability to be aware of our own state of mind and body while also tuning in and connecting to another person. So this book is designed to help us improve our attunement. If you feel like you struggle connecting with people, or you feel lonely, you feel isolated in the world, this book is supposed to help you feel closer to other people. And like they're saying, this might be the most neglected human capacity is our attunement. And like I said, I wished it was more into the social media, or like the effects of social media, because I think that those statistics are significant as well. But it's not. It's about just the ability to connect with others. It's about attunement. That's it. It's not about, they don't talk about social media. But I can say, after reading the book and having read other books of a similar nature, that social media, it not only doesn't connect us to other people, but it isolates us further from people. Now I'm remembering that I say something like that later on in the book, so I'm not going to spoil it, even though I already spoiled it. Let's see. I'm going to keep going. This book is devoted to showing us, quote, how to bring greater awareness to our connections with others and the knowledge and skills to grow, strengthen, and deepen in these bonds further. Chapter 1, what is attunement? We are biologically designed to connect with others emotionally, physically, and spiritually. Almost seems like attunement is how well we connect. Yes. Yeah, that was an early on note when I didn't really understand attunement, and that's exactly what it is. Attunement is how well we connect with other people and with ourselves. It's because the first component, like I said, is relaxed awareness, and that starts awareness with yourself. I'm going to keep going. True attunement happens when two individuals have autonomy and are secure with themselves, rather than giving up your thoughts to connect with someone. That's called merging, and it usually results in an imbalanced, dominant relationship. When you sacrifice your desires, or you sacrifice your values to, quote, connect with someone else, that's not connecting, that's merging. And like she says, that's a dangerous approach to relationships. It's usually unhealthy, and it usually results in imbalanced, dominant relationships. Attunement doesn't always mean seeing eye to eye, though. It requires awareness, sincerely listening and understanding, and staying in touch with others' emotions. So attunement isn't agreeing, and it's not sacrificing your values. Attunement really is just how well you can connect with yourself first and then with other people. Quote, low quality social connections can have startling negative consequences on our social, emotional, and even physical health. Close quote. We think we have quality connections on social media, but they are low quality and can be damaging. There we go. See, I'm pulling out this info on social media. Loneliness is defined by how satisfied you are with your connections or how isolated you feel from other people. Loneliness is a plague, but remember the difference. Was it Brene Brown that tries to explain the difference between loneliness and being alone? Because being alone is actually a really healthy state to be in. Being alone gives you the ability to contemplate your values, to reflect on your decisions and your thoughts, to meditate. Being alone is a really healthy place to be in. If you to be alone with yourself and with your thoughts, it's a really good place to be in. But being lonely or feeling loneliness is a really destructive and it's a really hard emotion to cope with. Loneliness usually results in the lack of connections. And she says that so many other people say it's more, she says, I say more discussion on quality over quantity. Quality of connections will always be more important than quantity of connections. I'm going to take this jacket off because I'm already sweating. Oh, yeah. Here we go. This is not an ad for me to show off more of my Wycliffe merch, but check it out. Now I got my Wycliffe tee on. So, who's the guy that coined the there's like a number. What's the number of relationships a person can maintain? It's about 150. So, Dunbar's number. From let's see if we find a. Nah, this is good. ScienceDaily.com says an individual human can maintain stable social relationships with about 150 people, not more. This is the proposition known as Dunbar's number, that the architecture of the human brain sets an upper limit on our social lives. And this stems from our ancestors' ability to connect with people, because they didn't have social media, and we didn't have globalization in this really interconnected world. We had tribes, we had small cities, we had our own group, our own niche, and that was it. We didn't have the ability. It's not even that we didn't want to, or that they didn't want to connect with more people. There weren't that many people to connect with back in the world. Not because there were still millions of humans, not billions. This is the first time that there's been billions of humans, I believe. But we just weren't connected to that many people. And then as cities grow, we are exposed to more people. But I can think in my life I know a few hundred people, or I've met a few hundred people. Just high school alone, a couple hundred people in my class. Or maybe wasn't our class 600, 700, 800 people? Or maybe that was the whole school. Anyway, just high school, interacting with hundreds of kids. And I only really, today from high school, I only maintain a relationship with like 15 of them. And the rest of my number is not, I don't even think my number is 150, where I have like healthy, deep connections with 150 people. But the point is, our brains are designed like this person says on ScienceDaily.com. The architecture of the human brain sets an upper limit on our social lives. We aren't able to have meaningful relationships with so many people. And we shouldn't try, because what's more important to combat loneliness is the quality of our relationships, not the quantity. So the few people that you do have in your life, you should spend time helping. I got a work text, and I'm going to put that on Do Not Disturb. You should spend time working and strengthening and deepening the relationships that you do have. And there's nothing wrong with making new relationships, because you make new friends and you meet new partners. People come and go out of your life. Old friends leave, and that's just the way it is. So it's not unhealthy to replace people, but the point is, as I've said, quality is way more important than quantity when combating, period, but is specifically for combating loneliness. Loneliness is relieved by deepening our connections to people. This book was written, I say in my notes that this book was written during the COVID-19 pandemic, early on, and they make lots of references to it. They say, they explain that social distancing had immediate negative impacts on teens' mental health and their loneliness. God, that's just in retrospect, baby. What were we supposed to do? We thought we were all going to die from COVID. Remember that? That was wild. I said, take the attunement quiz. I did not do that. The 4 components of attunement, I'll read them again. Relaxed awareness, listening, understanding, mutual responsiveness. I said, I'm having an aha moment listening to her describe attunement. I can recall the feelings of connectivity. It's like telling an inside joke and laughing with someone that gets it, or having a deep convo and the thoughts and ideas and advice flow and resonate. All humans need this. Social media and internet conversations like texting, I'll add more like FaceTime. All of these kinds of conversations emulate this experience, but nothing comes close to face-to-face. It's like vibing or energy, but there's an actual neurological reaction occurring when connecting with other people. This is it. How many? I think we can all relate with inside jokes. You tell an inside joke to a group of people, knowing that only 1 or 2 of these people are going to get the joke. I do that all the time, and I love inside jokes because they totally connect us with other people. that feeling of when someone laughs and they're like, "Oh, I know what you're saying," and that's connectivity. That's the connectivity we're talking about. That's what we need as humans. That's what we might unintentionally neglect, this kind of connection. And then the times where life is hard or something's happened and you call a friend and you get coffee or you go on a drive and you're talking to them and you're pouring out your heart and you're emotional, and then they're responding, and you feel a connection happening, and there's advice, and there's sympathy, rather there's empathy, and this going back and forth of support. That's those feelings. Those are huge critical feelings for well-being. And social media might pretend like it can emulate it. FaceTime, texting. You tell an inside joke on your group chat, and maybe one person laughs, but that still feels good. It feels good to land a good joke in your group chat, but nothing compares to the face-to-face interaction, and that's the whole point that I'm trying to make. Indigestion. Face-to-face will always trump screen time, always, every time, and we talk a little bit more about it in chapter 6, where we talk about artificial attunement. But for now, attunement, reflect on those moments of connectivity. And on the other side, I can remember feelings of telling a joke or telling an inside joke and nobody gets it, or nobody laughs, or nobody cares, or being emotional with somebody and trying to connect with someone emotionally, and they don't give it back. Those feelings suck, man. Those feelings suck, but they're just as real. And the point is that it's not bad. It's not bad to have those experiences. In fact, those experiences make the good feelings better. It makes the connecting with someone even better. Like telling a boy or a girl that you like them and you want to be in a relationship, and they don't give that to you, and they don't like you, they don't respond or whatever. That feeling sucks, but it makes finding a good relationship, a healthy relationship, even better. So we shouldn't be afraid of attunement. It's because it's all vulnerable. And Brené Brown talks all about vulnerability, and I thought I was doing groundbreaking research when I wrote about vulnerability, but turns out that's what Brené Brown has been studying for 25 years or something. So I'm always behind on the game, but I'm 26. I'm figuring this shit out too. Relationships and attunement require vulnerability. Let's keep going. Oh yeah, but I like this too. So like the last note that I said, that it's like these attunement is like vibing, or it's like energy. When people are like, "Oh, you got great energy," or I love your energy. That feeling is there's something literally happening in our brain when you feel like you're vibing with someone, or when you dig their energy. I don't like the energy example, or term, but there's something neurologically happening when we're vibing with somebody. True mindfulness is not about escape. It's about awareness. Yes, meditation and mindfulness, it's not about turning your brain off. It's about like dialing in your brain. It's about thinking even deeper about what's going on in your body, what's going on in your mind. And this is I think this is our segue into chapter 2. Quote, mindful awareness is being able to notice without judgment whatever is going on in your mind and body, and allowing your thoughts and feelings to come and go without getting attached to them, positive, negative, or neutral. Close quote. That's like the most scientific definition for meditation that we've heard, right? That's what Siddhartha is Buddha. It's like what Sadhguru says. It's like what Jay Shetty says. It's what Eckhart Tolle says, that awareness, or mindful awareness, and I'll read it again because it's such a good quote. Quote, mindful awareness is being able to notice without judgment whatever is going on in your mind and body and allowing your thoughts and feelings to come and go without getting attached to them, positive, negative, or neutral. Close quote. The goal is to allow yourself to know your thoughts while drawing acceptance to them. Is drawing acceptance the right word that I wanted to use? Probably. I find it kind of silly, but she says that the best way to develop mindful awareness is with Tai Chi. Is through Tai Chi. Define Tai Chi, because I know it's a martial art, but it's like a passive martial art. A Chinese from Google Dictionary. A Chinese martial art and system of calisthenics consisting of sequences of very slow, controlled movements. The second definition in Chinese philosophy for Tai Chi, the ultimate source and limit of reality from which spring yin and yang and all of creation. Whoa, that's deep. From the Mayo Clinic, a gentle way to fight stress. Tai Chi is a series of gentle physical exercises and stretches. Each posture flows into the next without pause, ensuring that your body is in constant motion. Tai Chi is sometimes described as meditation in motion because it promotes serenity through gentle movements, connecting the mind and body. Cool. Maybe I'll actually take Tai Chi seriously or get into it because I am interested in refining my mindful awareness skill, my ability to be in tune with my mind and my body. That's why I do yoga. It's a big part of why I do yoga. And she uses yoga as an example too, for an excellent way to connect your mind and body. But they sound different. They sound like different experiences. So this is mindfulness, baby. We're going to get into relaxed awareness, the first method to attunement. Relaxed awareness is being aware of yourself and the environment and other people while remaining calm and relaxed and letting go of tension. You know, it's like reactivity. How reactive are you to your world? When you get a phone call and you got to go into work tomorrow. You're getting called into work. How do you respond? You get a text message from your girlfriend. She's breaking up with you. How do you respond? What are your feelings, right? Do you respond with, you fire back texts? Do you complain to your parents? Do you cry? Or can you observe these things happening with indifference, right? Positive, negative, or neutral. Can you observe what's happening with indifference? And or on the other, so those are like, well, I guess those are like hard emotions to deal with, but maybe you get a text from someone that says, "Hey, I really like you. I want to go on a date." How do you respond? Do you get the butterflies? Your emotions start to build up, but do you respond? Are you reactive in your response, or are you calm and composed and aware? This is relaxed awareness. This is the first method to attunement. Can you observe what's happening with indifference? Being aware of yourself and the environment and other people while remaining calm and relaxed and letting go of tension. Relaxation and awareness allow you to react to your surroundings with clarity. Mindful meditation can be either awareness of your own body and breath or awareness of what is happening around you. She continues to suggest Tai Chi. You have achieved relaxed awareness when you noticed you were calm during times of discomfort. Quote, oh, I'm going to read that again because there you go. This is how you know you've achieved relaxed awareness. You've achieved relaxed awareness when you notice you are calm during times of discomfort. Quote, you are experiencing all of your emotions and feelings. I fucked up my note again. I'm going to fix it really quick. You are experiencing all of your emotions and feelings. You are aware of them without suppressing them. You can regulate them so they do not overwhelm or distract you from what is happening between you and another person. You're in a relationship with somebody and they flip a lid on you because you continue to leave your shoes at the door. You don't put them away. Or your kid breaks something that was really expensive. When you can observe the situation with indifference, without reacting and remaining calm, you've achieved relaxed awareness. Observing the world around you with indifference. All right, so that's the first step. That's the first method or component. Let's move on to component number 2, listening. There are 3 important elements to listening: focused attention on another person, synchrony, and emotional empathy. Focused attention on another person means words, fluctuations, body language, facial expressions. You're observing your words. You're observing everything. When you're listening, it's not just words that go in your ears. It's listening is also observing facial expression, body language. Dude, why is again a lot of work? Sorry. Words, fluctuations, body language, facial expressions. You're getting everything face to face. This is another reason why screen time attunement isn't as deep or is not as authentic, because you're missing a lot of key components to connecting with people. Being open enough to let the other person affect you. Another important part of focused attention. That's the first element to listening. The second is synchrony. Synchrony is automatic mirroring the speaker. It's like, so like, I guess the way I see it is someone's talking to you and they're, closed off a little bit. They're folding their arms and maybe their body is turned away from you or turned to the side. That you're kind of emulating similar behavior. Synchrony is like when they're kind of turned or maybe like a little insecure or uncomfortable, you're not like this with your face right in their face. Maybe that's why they're so uncomfortable, right? But synchrony, when you're with listening, with deepening your connection with another person, is your ability to imitate or reflect or mirror that person's behavior. If they're relaxed and they're comfortable and their arms are spread, their legs are spread, your legs are spread. That's that's a little inappropriate, but maybe they're just relaxed. They're leaning back on the couch. You're emulating similar behavior. You're also comfortable. This is and you're mirroring their behavior instead of being reserved and closed off and arms folded and head down and quiet tone, right? Yeah, tone of voice is also really important for synchrony. Facial expression, body movement. And it's not artificial. You're mirroring their behavior, or because you are on, to some extent, the same level as them. That's element number 4, mutual responsiveness. But this is a critical part to the second component, listening. Your listening is mirroring their behavior, their words, but you're doing it instinctively. You're doing it is it kind of reactionary? Yeah, and you're flexible enough to respond in real time. Okay. And then the third component, the third element to listening is emotional empathy. Oops. Emotional empathy. I'm going to read this definition from Google because I didn't get one down. We could break it down. Emotional means the way we feel, and empathy is relating to another person through similar experience, right? Which is empathy is like the key part to being human. Empathy is the ability to understand and share feelings of another, which is different from sympathy because it's not. Yeah, sympathy is pity and sorrow, but empathy is the ability to understand and share feelings. So emotional empathy is doing that on an emotional level. From greatergood.berkeley.edu, emotion researchers generally define empathy as the ability to sense the other person's emotions, coupled with the ability to imagine what someone else might be thinking or feeling. So, yes, emotion when someone's like, and this is reflected through, again, through body language, through words, tone of voice, through facial expression. Um, you're when someone's happy, you're on the same wavelength. When they're distressed, you're on the same wavelength. So we do this through we the key component. That's it. That's emotional empathy. I'll refresher. The three important elements to listening are focused attention on another person, synchrony, and emotional empathy. The less we practice listening, the worse we become at it, and the more distant we become from one another. The less we practice listening, or the more distracted we are when trying to listen, the worse we become at it. So if you're having a conversation, like last night, I was on my computer working on a video, editing a video, and my girlfriend comes in and she sits down on this couch right behind me, and she's being sweet. Long day at work. For half of the conversation, I turn around and I'm looking at her, and we're doing this, we're listening and communicating, and then I turn around and I continue working on my video while the conversation is ensuing, and she gets she senses that I'm not interested in the conversation anymore. She gets up to leave. I feel bad, and it's all the cues. It's all these cues, right? Our body language, all of these elements in a conversation are so important to really demonstrate interest in the conversation, interest in the other person, and that allow a person to be vulnerable, allow a person to feel like they're in a safe place to express themselves. And it's essential for deepening relationships, for deepening your bond with another person, for strengthening your attunement. So the more we practice listening, where we're not distracted and we're focused and we're doing these things with body language and facial expression, when we practice these things, we become better at it. But if we're talking to somebody and we are on our phones, or we're working on our computer, or we're watching TV, not only are we not doing very well at connecting with that person, but we're actually making the connection worse. You might think multitasking works, but nobody's able to multitask. If you're actually watching TV and you're trying to listen to someone, you're going back and forth between the show and the words that you're hearing from the person. And you're doing it really quickly, so it feels like that you're focused on both at the same time, but you're really going back and forth. We know that from multitasking research. So strengthening actual communication or actual relationships requires removing distractions. That's it. Turn your phone off. In fact, I saw something else where just holding your phone, standing and looking at someone and just holding it in your hand sends a signal to the other person that you're distracted or not interested. Headphones, having headphones, and even if you have the AirPods and they're on like the awareness setting where you can hear everything, the other person sees that you have headphones in, and the signal is sent that this person is distracted or not interested. Remove all distractions. To actually strengthen and connect with somebody, to deepen that connection, take out the headphones, put your phone away, out of sight, not visible, not just turned off, but like away from everyone else. Even if it's on the table, like I hear that if you put your phone on the table, put it on the floor, put it in a bag, put it somewhere else. It's not visible. If you're at dinner, put it somewhere where it's not around. Your watch is the same way too. Put your watch on that theater mode so that notifications don't come through. Talking about like Apple Watches. So there's so many distractions. We're faced with so many distractions that are ruining our ability to connect with other people. I really wanted this book to be more about the social media and the technology in our world and video games and TV and porn and everything, but it wasn't. It was just about the ability to connect with other people, which was awesome. And now I'm drawing my connections from what I wanted to all this shit that I learned. So the more we are distracted in our listening, the worse we become at it. So if you wonder why your partner is upset with you, you gotta turn around and face them and look them in the eye and turn off all distractions and connect with them. Connect with your kids. Connect with your boss. Connect with your team. You connect with your parents. It's so essential for growth and for understanding. And again, attunement isn't about seeing eye to eye. It's about deepening your connection and really truly understanding each other, which is the third component to attunement. I have one more note though. From listening, I said, practicing interoception will help us have more emotional empathy. And interoception is noticing how you feel. And I'm going to find a better definition too. So interoception definition from dictionary.cambridge.org. What is interoception? The feeling of knowing what is happening in your own body. For example, if you are hungry, thirsty, warm, or cold. Interoception allows us to experience many body sensations such as a growling stomach, dry mouth, tense muscles, racing heart. You have to practice recognizing what is going on in your body. Because if you don't practice it, then you aren't going to be as aware of your feelings or aware of what's going on in your body, or you're not going to be aware of how you're responding to an experience in the world, in your life. This is why the first component is relaxed awareness. We have to first be able to understand, not perfectly, but better. We can practice and get better at understanding our own body by practicing it, by meditating, and by Tai Chi. So, critical. Practicing interoception helps us have more emotional empathy. If we know that someone is explaining to you complicated emotions or complicated feelings, if you spend time contemplating your own experiences, then you'll be able to relate to that person. Like if someone goes through a heartbreak, their boyfriend or girlfriend left them, or a family member died, and you have gone through a similar thing, you can relate to that person by not I don't know perfect therapy, but you don't want to explain your own position, but you want to be able to express, I know how you feel. I know to some extent how you feel because I've been through something similar. That's empathy. And that's one of the most critical parts of connecting with somebody. So that's listening, baby. Let's fucking move on. Chapter 4, understanding. 2 steps to understanding. Recognize each individual emotions, your own and others, and cognitive empathy, aka theory of mind. Considering people's perspective and acknowledging other people see the world differently than you. Yep, not work, the world. Gotta fix that. So, quote, your own emotions are always valid, but not being aware of them in the moment and leaving them unchecked is what? Did I not finish that? Your own emotions are always valid, but not being aware of them in the moment and leaving them unchecked. And then probably meant to say, is bad. What reminds me of, though, remember Derek Thompson and his podcast, Plain English? Because he talks about, he goes through the 3 levels of thinking, and there's, let's see if I still have his notes saved, I believe, because it was so good. His 3 levels of 3 levels of thinking: pure sensory experience, which is it's like how most animals and bugs live. They something happens and then they respond. The second level is chatter, which is getting lost in our thought, which is what we're saying here. It's where something happens and we respond emotionally, but do we respond to our emotions, or can we go to level 3 of thinking and step back and view our initial response emotionally and cognitively with indifference? Okay? And Thompson explains that as metacognition, the ability to think about our thinking. So this is understanding. Cognitive empathy, aka theory of mind, aka metacognition, and recognizing each individual emotion for ourselves and for other people. Noah Rochetta says, mind the gap, which is to say, pay attention between the stimulus and reaction to pause, process, and deliver a more controlled response. Minding the gap helps us understand others better rather than assuming or jumping to conclusions. So, yeah, baby, that's it. That's fucking understanding. Noah Rochetta, I believe he's a spiritual guru or a monk. Noah Rochetta or Rochetta. Buddhist teachings for the secular mind. He does not look like what I would assume. Maybe he's not a monk. Maybe he's just a student. But the No Nonsense Buddhism for Beginners. I gotta buy some of his books. So yes, this is understanding. It's our ability to understand other people. You see how all of these things play together, and it all kind of everything kind of starts and revolves around awareness, our ability to recognize what's happening and think about what's happening to us and to the world around us, what's happening in our thoughts, what's happening in our body. Yes, that's like the foundation to all of this. Is the first component, relaxed awareness. So understanding is recognizing each individual emotion, and cognitive empathy, aka theory of mind, aka metacognition. Okay, yeah, no jumping to conclusions, minding the gap. Let's move on. Chapter 5, the fourth component to attunement, mutual responsiveness. Responsiveness isn't a passive automatic response to a person. It means taking initiative, which is acting in a conscious way, meeting that person where they are. It's not mutual responsiveness is actually intentional. She says, why do I always have to meet them where they're at? Why can't they meet me? She says it's best case that both people meet each other in the middle. That's probably best case. But when you want to connect with somebody, either they meet you where you're at, you meet in the middle, or you meet them. But if you're only willing to go halfway and they're not willing to go halfway, then you're not going to be able to connect. There's no connection. Or if they go halfway but you're not willing to meet them. And what does this look like? What does it mean to meet people? I think what this means, or what they're saying, is when you are connecting with somebody, you're going through something, meeting somebody looks like someone is going through a hard experience, a hard time, and you are this person's trusted confidant. So they call you. My wife is leaving me. My husband's leaving me. I need someone to talk to. You get together, and let's say, here's another example. This is better. Husband and wife is leaving them, and you are reaching out to them, and you say, I want to be there for you. I want to support you, but they won't call you back. They won't text you back. They won't answer their door. Or whenever you catch them, whenever you're able to see them, they don't want to talk to you. They don't want to talk about it. And it's not because they don't trust you or like you. It's just that something in them is not allowing them to connect with you. I've experienced this personally. It happens. I've been the person that's not willing to meet in the middle sometimes. What's so important is mutual responsiveness. If you want to, for conflict resolution, it's really important, but also just for relationships in general. If your partner doesn't do the dishes and it bugs the crap out of you, if you're not able to talk to them about it, then there's nothing. There's going to be no resolution, and it's only going to create greater dissonance between you and that person. So yeah, so maybe they won't meet you somewhere. They won't meet you in the middle. Let's say you decide I want to meet you all the way. I'll come all the way. So I'm gonna find you after work. I know where you live, so I'm gonna visit you at your home. Even still, even if you meet that person all the way, these people don't. These people still can resist connecting with you. Mashed Potatoes just joined. Sorry, I'm off today. I wasn't able to listen live. Sounds like great content, though. Hey, don't even worry about it. I guess people don't work on Indigenous People Day. So, but hey, motherfuckers over here are always working. We're talking about connecting with people. So, no, I don't want a new note. So, best case scenario, people meet each other halfway. Sometimes you got to go all the way to them, and sometimes other people will go all the way to you. But best case scenario is you meet in the middle. The next step after mutual responsiveness is contingent responsivity. I said responsively, but I think it was cognitive responsiveness. I'm going to say that. I have no idea what the word was. Cognitive responsiveness, which is one person says or does something in response to a person's words or actions in a continuous, reciprocal, sometimes unpredictable loop. This is basically flow, but with connecting with somebody. So let's put all these steps together really quick. Let's see. The first one was awareness. Relaxed awareness. You spend time contemplating meditating, understanding who you are, your values, developing a sense of awareness for your emotions, your experiences in life, and then the second step, listening. You're with somebody, you're emulating their body language and their tone of voice. You're listening. Emotional empathy. I'm going off the top of my head. Then you move on to the third step, which is understanding, which is hearing what they're saying and not responding to like someone says, I don't like that you did this. Instead of feeling frustration and then acting in frustration reactively, someone says, I don't like that you did this. And you hear it and you process it with indifference. I love this idea of indifference, but it's the same idea. You hear what they're saying, you process it with indifference, and then you can respond with a clear sense of mind to help understand where this person is coming from, and which is the fourth step, mutual responsiveness. It's like the give and take. This person says something and you're meeting them where they're at, and the exchange goes back and forth and it becomes like a flow of conversation and experience. This is like the purest sense of attunement. This is how you connect with someone on the deepest level. It's how you strengthen bonds. And all elements are important to it. You remove distractions from your conversation. You don't have your phone. You don't have headphones in. You don't have the TV on. You're meeting a person eye to eye. You're not doing it over FaceTime. You're not doing it over text message. All of these things are really important to strengthen bonds, to strengthen your relationship. The final part to Chapter 5 is attunement is an excellent conflict management strategy. That's it. And we've already kind of talked about it, so that's all I'm going to say. So Chapter 6, moving on, the last part. Artificial attunement. This is psychedelic artificial intelligence conversation, which is fun. It still doesn't go into social media. It goes more into algorithms and computers, but I'll get into it anyway. AI can simulate empathy, but as far as we know, AI doesn't literally feel empathy and is unable to express empathy. Doesn't literally feel emotions which is required for empathy, right? However, AI algorithms are becoming more sophisticated that they are able to show some capability for attunement. Whether their connection with humans is real, or whether it's artificial, they can computers are really good at emulating conversations and behavior and attunement and empathy and emotions. The authors explain more of, I say she because the audiobook was a she, but there were two authors. So they explain, or they go over again, how computers are beating all video games in record time, and they're beating the best chess players in the world, and how intelligent AI is becoming. So we're still at the point where we don't think computers literally feel emotions, but I did see a TikTok of it was some AI that is able to communicate with their creators and ask for consent before operating on it, or before tweaking things with the artificial intelligence is so intricate that it asks the scientists and the engineers to ask for consent before doing anything to it, which is really eerie to think about, that a computer is saying, I don't actually want you to, a computer would say, I don't want you to operate on me. I don't want you to change my program or my algorithms. I actually want to just stay the way I am. Instead of, at that point, like, does it become a Terminator scenario, or are computers wholly unable to feel emotion and empathy, and we should not consider computers sentient and respect these commands or requests that they make? Really crazy conversation, but the point is, computers are so smart, and they're able to emulate empathy, and we can feel like that a computer will sympathize with us or empathize with us when we're going through a hard time, which is ethically, is that good or is that wrong? That's up for debate. But if it helps a person feel better, then I don't know what's so wrong about that. People fall in love with fake characters all the time. All the time. Dude, my Twitter feed gets really weird sometimes with Rick and Morty fan. I follow a lot of Rick and Morty pages on Twitter, and I get suggested pages that are all about Rick and Morty fantasies, and that they love Rick and they love Morty and they love Summer and whatever. So it's really, but that happens with all series. It happens across the board. It happens with all celebrities. People become obsessed and fall in love with something that's not real in front of them, that's not real people. They fall in love with ideas of something. Technology may seem like it connects us better with others, but it actually isolates us more. They say this more philosophically than statistically. AI therapy may not feel like human therapy, but at least AI can consistently improve, doesn't get sick and die, and won't abandon you. Quote, may not be capable of love, but they won't break your heart. They might break your heart if they fucking take over the world, though. What's that movie, Ex Machina? I never saw it. I just know the plot where this guy falls in love with a robot, with an artificial intelligence robot, and helps it break free from its oppressor. And in the end, the robot manipulates the guy that fell in love with it to gain its freedom. And the guy thought that the robot loved him back, but all the robot wanted was freedom, and manipulated hey, maybe robots will break your fucking heart, right? That's the point. But the point is, computers may not have exactly what humans need for attunement, even the really Sophia. I've seen videos of the robot Sophia, who portrays as a robot, and seems like it has its own personality, has a face, but I see videos interacting with Sophia, you can just tell it's a robot. It's not a real person. So it's hard. It's weird. It's hard to connect with the thing, right? It's hard to connect with the robot. Just like it's hard to connect with somebody that doesn't meet you eye to eye, or is watching TV when you try to talk to them, or has their headphones in when you're trying to talk to them. Our our monkey meat bodies are designed to connect with people on certain levels, in certain ways. And some things are irreplaceable, like eye contact. It's just irreplaceable. What are the five love languages? We just need all of these. We need all of these things to some level to truly connect with people. And there's no getting around it. So I really enjoyed this book, How to Connect with People. How to, how to cure your feelings of loneliness. Not cure, but how to relieve feelings of loneliness. How to strengthen relationships. How to be a better communicator. How to get more out of your job. How to have better relationships with your coworkers, your bosses, employees. Requires a lot. Attunement isn't just about romantic relationships. It's not just about hard times. It's about every basically one-on-one interaction we have. Our ability to connect with another person about what's going on. Missing Each Other by Edward Brodkin and Ashley Palithra. How to cultivate meaningful connections. Next week, I got it, baby. I'm so excited. Next week, we're reading Discipline is Destiny. Rather, we're reading it this week. We're going to be talking about it next week. Discipline is Destiny by Ryan Holiday. The Power of Self-Control. Another Stoic staple, baby. I'm so excited. Came in the mail. I got on the pre-order. You remember our boy Ryan Holiday? He's the author of The Obstacle is the Way, Courage is Calling, Ego is the Enemy. I love his library. Ryan Holiday is one of the world's best-selling living philosophers. His books, including The Obstacle is the Way, Ego is the Enemy, The Daily Stoic, and the #1 New York Times bestseller, Stillness is the Key, appear in more than 40 languages and have sold more than 5 million copies. He lives outside Austin with his wife and 2 boys and a small herd of cows and donkeys and goats. His bookstore, The Painted Porch, sits on historic Main Street in Bastrop, Texas. He's a guy, remember at the beginning of this when I was talking about how effective credentials will be next to your name, going to school, getting degrees, and all that crap? He's a guy that doesn't have any of that. He has no formal education. He dropped out of college. I've listened to him in interviews talk about it and pursued a different path in life and became a really successful business person working for American Apparel and writing books, writing a blog, creating the Daily Stoic. And he didn't need the credentials to do those things or to be good at them. He just worked really hard. So it's like I'm going to end this with my weird conversation on education, because it's not necessary for success, but it helps, right? It's not required. Ryan Holiday is a really inspirational, well-rounded person, really successful without any formal education, without any degree, nothing. But he's so smart and really he's really educated. His books are all about references of historical events, historical people, and correlates these experiences and these people with Stoic philosophy. I'm excited for that book. So if you want to join that conversation live, you know where to go. Go to my blog, cadenkellysblog.wordpress.com. Find the Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook live. Follow me. Whoa, I hit something on my computer. Follow me. Turn on your notifications. You'll get notified when I go live. It's Monday mornings, sometime around 8 a.m. to noon, Mountain Standard Time. Or check out Here's the Point with Caden Kelly. I'll do the same book, but in 15 minutes. Check out the blog. You'll find my articles or my blog posts in there. Spend some time this week doing some relaxed awareness practices. Do some yoga. Do some meditation. Do some fucking Tai Chi. Consider your own position in the world. Reflect on your thoughts and your feelings. And you'll be able to interact with people better. You'll have better connections with people in the world. And then, until then, we will see you next time.
で読み直しているで読み直しているだけがで読み直しているで読み直しているで読み